The bullet journal is really like the place for me to like sort through my brain. And so whether I do it on the pages or I do it on Post-it notes and put it in later, it usually winds up in here. Hi everybody, today is Wednesday, August 7th. It is another day of Plan As You Go where I show how I use my planners in tandem for an entire month. I've got my bullet journal, my Erin Condren horizontal, my power sheets, and my wellness planner. I also have some of your questions that I'm going to be answering today from yesterday's video. Like I said before, just leave the word question in your question. Like when you leave a comment with a question, if you want to ask me a question, have me potentially answer it because I can't always stay on top of them. Just make sure you use the word question in your comment. Yesterday I got a lot of work done, but I did not get as much as I wanted to, but I think I actually overextended how much I could get done yesterday. So we'll look at that in just a second. But first I want to go to my wellness planner. And it actually is a perfect time then to answer a question from Julie Candace, who asked, how are you liking the wellness planner? I love the size of it for putting the pictures in. All the rest of the bells and whistles don't really matter that much to me. It's mostly just becoming like an album to record my thoughts and my pictures so far, but I mean, it could evolve. The picture I posted was a picture of Loki cleaning himself. It was one of the only pictures I took yesterday, but part of the reason this was a big deal to me was, like I said, on Monday we had a problem with him having an accident. Yesterday he was in a much better mood. He was hanging out near me the entire day, cleaning himself and just hanging out. And then this was actually a picture I sent to Jesse to show that Loki was living his best life, licking his legs. Today he is full of piss and vinegar, not literally, but just in a great mood and meowing like he usually does. So I feel better now. I figured I would make a note of that. So I am going to grab maybe some stickers for this. I also got a question from Danielle Woodward, who asked if I changed my filming and voice recording setup because it's been hard to hear me. It's just where everything is on my desk, and so I'm trying to go back to my lav mic, which is easier to use. If you see a cord fall in the window, I'm kind of MacGyvering this today, and I apologize for any behind the curtain situations. Not that I think it really matters. Now, arguably, I feel like I phoned this in, but I'm not worried about it. Whatever. I've been really stressed out about him. Like, he's my kitty. All right, let's go to my power sheets. Here's where we're at so far. I got my analysis done, thankfully, and I did most of the work on planning out the print shop, and I started the work on a Skillshare class. Other than that, I am filming this video. I did do the first initial layer of my painting, and actually for a bit of a sneak peek, here is a little bit that you can see of the first initial layer. Sneak peek. If you want to see more, you got to be a patron. Although I haven't posted any pictures of that today. And I did get some walking in. I did not read last night. I wound up watching Idiocracy with Jesse, and then RJ walked in the middle with no context and was like, what in the crap are you guys watching? It was pretty funny. So looking at this for today, I want to do a little bit more work on Skillshare. I didn't wind up working on my September and October editorial calendar. I realized I need like another week or so for my brain to kind of percolate on that. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not quite ready to plan that out yet. I'm not feeling it yet, maybe is the way to put it. So I'm going to change that to a next week priority. I do want to start on the Kanban board, and I was thinking about recording a video of it, of how I'm going to use it. I've never done it before, so even though I feel like there are similarities to how it works and how I usually plan, so I'm thinking it won't be that hard of a transition. Otherwise, looking at all of this, inbox 0 is something I would like to hit today. I have not finished clearing my inbox out. I got through a lot of it, but not all of it yesterday. And then just continuing all the other things. So those are the things I want to keep in mind when I am setting up my day. So let's take a look at my Erin Condren and see where we're at. Because you guys are living my life with me. I guess that's how Plan As You Go month goes, right? All right, so looking at this for today, I have a phone call at 2:30. I have another phone call at 5:30 that I have to add on here. I want to record a podcast for next week because this is the only day this week before the weekend where the kids are, where RJ at least is not here because he is already at the high school helping out our teacher friend. He actually left this morning as I was in the shower, and I would like to take Katie for school shopping after school. I don't know if that's going to be possible today, but that is the hope because it's pretty much today or tomorrow. I don't get them back unless I want to do it the weekend they get back from their dads, and that's going to be a nightmare because it's going to be the weekend right after school starts, which means a lot of people are going to be out. So we shall see. So the thing I want to add here is the second call that I have, and then I'm going to put Kanban at the bottom because I would like to start working on that. This fucking cord keeps falling down. I need to find like a better way to handle this, to try and keep it in one spot, because if this is going to be what I use right now, if the sound works out great, I'm going to have to figure this shit out. I mean, that's a good thing, actually. Plan as you go month is an excellent time to figure out new filming shit, because I'm filming so many videos and I'm trying to do them so quickly that Plan as you go makes a beautiful like testing ground for new ideas and new filming setups. In the past, I have created some of my most interesting, to me at least, processes and shit during Plan as you go because I'm trying to work fast and efficiently. Kanban. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I needed to add to the rest of my week. I don't think so. Oh, I gotta buy paper plate. I need to remember to buy paper plates, napkins, and utensils because I'm going to bring them for the potluck. I love bringing the items that aren't food. It's not going to be today. It's going to be on Thursday. So I'll leave a post-it note in my bullet journal to remind me to do that on Thursday. I don't think I have anything else I need to add to my list yet. Then I guess it's time to move to my bullet journal. Now, I did not work in here yesterday. I thought I was going to, but for planning my shop out, I found it easier to work with index cards. Some of you guys have seen a previous video I did where I used index cards to help me organize my thoughts. So I use these to list out all the things I need to do to get my shop up and running, like big things. Like as an example, finish the prints, right? So if it's my deadline for finishing the prints, and on the back I list all the tasks I need to do to finish them. So all these are like big things that need to happen, and then on the back breaking it down to smaller tasks. And this is what I think I'm going to use to put this big goal on my Kanban. So they're all here instead of in here. Am I going to use this for something? Most likely. I just don't, it might be for something else. But then again, it might be one of those Cindy did a setup and then didn't wind up actually using it kind of situations, which happen all the time for me with bullet journaling. Let me check off doing another Plan as you go video. And while I do, I'll answer a question from Melanie Turnbow, who asked, have you ever read a Stephen King book? If so, what was your favorite? And will I ever do a video about being a UU church member? I might not do a video about being a UU church member, but I might do a podcast about it. I might do a video. I'm not sure. It's so different at each congregation that it's hard to make a video about like it is overall, but I could. As for Stephen King, let me show you my Stephen King collection. Don't pay attention to the dirty slippers. I love Stephen King. He's one of my favorite authors. My favorite Stephen King book is probably It. Yes, I am going to go see It Chapter 2. Of the stuff he did after his accident, Bag of Bones is my absolute favorite. All right, now I need to check my monthly intentions list to see, I think I did some of these things that I can check off. And Jessica asked, how did you find out about bullet journaling, favorite notebook? I found out about from Marimundo. She was the one who kind of got me into it. My favorite notebook, I really love this Archer and Olive. This is my favorite notebook right now. I'm not good at answering questions like this. So I'm going to catch up now. Still have the extra ones to do. I only have today and tomorrow to I'm still catching up. It'll be today and tomorrow on my lettering and doodling. So today it'll be Doc from Snow White, and then Gus from Cinderella, who is one of my favorite sidekicks of all time. And then I actually got questions from Erin, Claudia, and Rachel. And this is a question I've gotten before. When I do the characters for these things, do I do them from memory, or I use a reference? I use a reference. I'm not doing these to sell. I'm not doing these, to whatever. I'm bald-faced just drawing from reference because I hate drawing people. And so by using a reference to just kind of copy what the original character looked like, it helps me get a little bit better at drawing people. And it just, that's just the way it is for me. If I was going to try and sell a character drawing, which I wouldn't because I don't draw them like from memory. The only characters I've ever drawn from memory off the top of my head and done a job like this was back in the 90s when I and many other teenagers who were born in 1980 or thereabouts would draw Marvin the Martian and Tweety Bird. Let me know in the comments if that was you when you were in high school. I graduated in 97. There are my characters, and now I'm going to letter them in. I've got my lettering in for the day, and now let's go to this. So looking at yesterday, I did call the vet. Everything is looking okay for Loki. We're supposed to just keep an eye on him. Oh, my nose itches. I'm sure you want to know that. Looking at this, got my video up. I got some of my, I'm going to cross off inbox because I did get some of it done, but I did not finish it. So I'm going to keep working on it today. I did one of the watercolor layers. I'll have to work on the other one today. I got most of this done except for the deadlines that I decided to move to next week, or the work I decided to move to next week. It's just a couple other things that didn't get done yet. So we'll move those to today. And then I think I checked everything off on here already that, yes. So coming off of this list today, I want to get to inbox 0 today. I'd like to upload some of my Patreon replays today if possible. I want to do school shopping for Katie, record that podcast, and I think that'll be everything off of this list, as well as anything else that needs to get done. And then I do want to leave myself the reminder, where the fuck are my Post-it notes? I have 1,000 Post-it notes, and when I actually want them, I don't know where they are. By paper goods for Friday. Now that's on my list, so I hopefully won't forget about it. So I'm gonna put some washi tape down first, and then I will get going. There were a bunch of questions on yesterday's video, and like I said, I don't think I'll be able to get to all of them, but I'm gonna try and get to several more of them while I'm wrapping this up, hopefully. And then I won't be doing a video for the next 85 years because I do have work to do besides the video today. One of them is from Cindy, who asked, when you say you will go back and write, do you have notes somewhere on the days and week? Do you keep these notes on your phone or a notebook? When I'm making notes about something, I either do them on just a random page in my bullet journal, and I don't often show it in my videos if it's something that I am not like necessarily feeling like I want to show it to the general public, like if it's a project I'm working on that I'm keeping secret, or if it's something personal, or sometimes if it's just something that's really irrelevant, like if I'm taking notes from like a retreat at church or something. But I keep those in my bullet journal. Otherwise, often I'll just do notes on Post-it notes, either the bigger ones or just the regular sized ones. I am a master of Post-it note. I wonder if I've got some in here. I probably do. Like here, there's one. There's one. You know, like you flip through, you wind up seeing a bunch of Post-it notes in my bullet journal, because I'll take the notes on the Post-it notes and then shove them somewhere in my bullet journal. So basically the way that I would put it is, if I want to go back and make notes or go back and do brainstorming or whatever that I don't do on camera, it often winds up in my bullet journal, whether on the page or on a Post-it note. But that's sort of where I catch everything. The bullet journal is really like the place for me to like sort through my brain. And so whether I do it on the pages or I do it on Post-it notes and put it in later, it usually winds up in here. Do I have a set time, day or night, when I sit down to journal and work on my planners? Yeah, first thing in the morning, usually. Like as soon as I'm dressed and awake and like moving, I will sit with my planners. Sometimes I'll do it before I get in the shower, but most days I'm so foggy in the morning because of not sleeping well because of my kidneys and shit that like I need the shower to wake me up as best as I can. Sometimes I'll go into my planners the night before and kind of set the day up, but most of the time in the evening, I'm usually hurting so bad that it doesn't feel good. So it's usually just the first thing in the morning before I get moving with my day to sort of organize my thoughts. Zivy Likes TV asked, you've been pretty consistent at the beginning of the year of only using one accent color in your bullet journal. Now I'm using more colors. Can I talk about making that change and if it was really conscious or it just happened? I think it happened 2 months ago maybe, ? And I think it was because there was like a Simply Gilded kit that I loved and I just wanted to use all the washi from it. I feel like some months I might just use one color, but other times now I'm starting to feel like I love color. I'm a color person, and the whole reason that I stopped using so much color was because I was discovering that the fancy of the bullet journal and like trying to make it all cute and everything was a procrastination technique. And now, as I'm just adding colors as I want to make me happy, I feel less like it's procrastination and it's just jazzing things up because I want to. So it kind of happened gradually, but at the same time, I am still very cognizant of it. So if I notice that I'm letting my bullet journal start to take up, like if I spend more time in my bullet journal than I spend actually working, that's a problem. So I am trying to remain hyper aware of how much time I spend fucking around in my planners so that I don't start running down the path of procrastination again. But I'm also like really wanting to use more colors. It's summertime too. I love summer colors. All right, Nicole asked a question and I wasn't sure if I was going to answer it or not because it felt kind of like I might get myself into trouble with it, but I'm going to answer it anyway. Nicole asked me who my favorite person to interview for my podcast was and why, and if I could interview anyone in the world, who could it be? My sister was my favorite, and I think it was because I love talking to my sister, and it felt really natural to just chat with Amy for the podcast, and I love her perspective on things. Like, I might be older, but in some ways she is so much more experienced than I am. She went through kidney failure first, she got her transplant first. And so hearing her thoughts on the emotional journey of that has been really helpful to me. And so having this conversation was just great. And if I could interview anyone in the world, who would it be? I've always said Jenna Marbles because I love how she's always been herself. And she's so smart in terms of like how things work with the internet. So Jenna Marbles has always been super high on my list. And I'm going to answer one more question, and then if you asked a question that didn't get answered, I will do my best to get to it in the next day or so. This one is from Frazique Quantique, who asked, have you observed any kind of difference in my approach to writing lists when you're on camera versus off? Do you think about the audience watching you write the tasks down while you're writing them, or have you gotten used to it? It's funny, like I very much am cognizant of people looking at me while I'm doing this. That's why I use abbreviations or code for certain things that I just don't want. Like I want to put them on my list and I know what it means, but you may not know what it means. And it might be just something that is private because it's something that has to do with my kids that I don't want to put on camera, or something for myself that I'm not ready to share yet, or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't really care if people like get a look into what I'm doing. That's why I do this. But at the same time, there are certain things that need to not be just put on blast, but I want to write them down so I don't forget them. So I've done a lot of abbreviation over the years. Or writing things, I can't stop yawning, or writing things after the fact. The other thing that I've noticed though is that when I'm doing something like Plan As You Go, I am so much more productive, and I think it's because the videos hold me accountable. I'm reading The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. I've got the audiobook, and my family and I all took the quiz last night and found out we are a family of obligers, except for RJ, who's a rebel. And the obligers tend to perform well when other people put expectations on them, but don't do so well with expectations on themselves. And that is me to a T. If I'm doing this for myself, I might be a little less productive, but if I'm putting it on camera for all of you, I will hold myself more accountable because you're watching. So there's that. But my lists almost always look the same. Like, my lists look the same regardless of whether I'm filming or not, in terms of sloppiness, in terms of how I write them. I'm just doing this the way I am. The biggest change in how I make lists is basically in how I write things down. If I write them just full out or if I abbreviate them, that's because of the camera. And when I'm making my tasks for the day, now I don't really think about the audience as much as like I just think about, shit, I gotta get all this done. All right, so here's my list for the day. I've got Plan As You Go, phone calls, Katie's school shopping, getting that watercolor layer on the second painting, a post I want to post for my patrons at some point today with some behind the scenes stuff, Skillshare, work, a couple other things, the Kanban board maybe, and I have these little like ledge shelves that we just put up in my office, and I want to put some stuff on them. And that's basically like a if I decide I have time or if I'm slacking off kind of a thing. And I guess my question for you would go back to Nicole's question. If I could interview anybody in the world on my podcast, who would you like me to interview? Or if you don't want to center it around me, if you could interview anybody in the world, who would it be? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have any questions for me, be sure to put the word question in. I won't guarantee I answer it, but I will do my best. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in tomorrow's Plan As You Go video.